everyone. Hello. It's me again. Long time no see. Just joking. I saw most of you yesterday. It's all tangled up, my earphones, but that's the story of my life. So I'm just going to wait again, as always, to make sure that you've all been notified of the live session, and then we can get started. Okay. Not sure if this has kicked in yet. Hopefully it has. It is showing me that Facebook Live is on. And what would really help me, as always, is if one of you kind people can drop a quick comment to let me know that you can hear me. I've got my earphones on today, and that should not create a problem with the audio. But with technology, you can never tell. So can you quickly, someone please write in the comments that you can hear me clearly, and that'll help me out. Today we're going to be talking about fear of the unknown, and that's just about how we can deal with everyday fears and stuff like that. I'm also going to touch quickly upon negative thinking and how we can handle that, because I think that seems to be a daily problem for a lot of us. Hold on. Kaushik says voice is less, but Kale says can hear you clearly, which is great. Thank you, both of you, for letting me know. If the volume continues to be a problem for some of you, please let me know. From my end, it all seems to be going okay. So hopefully all is well at your end as well. So here we are. And firstly, I wanted to thank you all for joining in the creative writing workshop that happened yesterday. It was a lot of fun for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed interacting with you all. It was amazing how beautifully you all participated, and I hope that you had as much fun going through all the different concepts that I was sharing with you all as I did actually teaching them, right? So I think there were about 150, 160 people that joined in, which is amazing. And last evening I actually lost my voice a little bit because I was so excited for that 1 hour session, and I spoke. But anyway, I had a lot of hot water, a lot of gargling, and hopefully my voice is back to normal. So today we are going to talk about fear of the unknown. And at the end of today's session, and it's not going to be too long, so probably 15-20 minutes max, hopefully, unless there are any questions that you all want to ask, then of course I'll stay around for a little bit longer and answer those. But at the end of today's session, I'm also going to announce 3 winners of my book giveaway contest. So for the last, I think, 8 or 10 days, I've been posting about this book giveaway contest, and there were 3 steps that you had to complete in order to be eligible and get into the draw. And I have gone through all the different entries, and I've put it together in a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to pull out the names during the live session. So that's going to be 3 winners, and each will win 1 copy of one of my books, and they will be mailed out. But I'll give you details of that at the end of the session. So hopefully everyone, the audio is still clear. If there's any problems, please let me know. For those who don't know me, this is Nim Golkar. I'm an author, speaker, and a success coach, or a life coach. Pretty much the same thing. And today I'm going to talk about fear of the unknown. Now, I find a lot of people during this time of the pandemic are actually struggling with lots of little fears. It's never the big fears that's the problem. I mean, they are a problem, of course, but the little fears are what get us down on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so I am just going to share with you a little bit about what I am doing to keep combating those everyday niggling fears that are there in our minds, because sort of we're living in a period of uncertainty. We're living in a period of our everyday reality having been turned upside down. So it's very, very natural that we will be filled with despair, we'll be filled with negative thoughts, etc. So I'm going to share with you 3 strategies that I personally use to keep fear at bay. And then I'm going to give you 2 strategies on how to actually deal with negative thoughts, right? Because for many of us, we're working from home, we've got spare time on hands, and it is very easy to get into a spiral of negative thinking. And once you get into a spiral of negative thinking, it's just downwards, 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 and it's hard to get out and do anything positive or productive during the day. By the way, where are my highs? You're all watching and no one has said hi, Nim, yet. So can you please quickly drop me a comment? I'm going to wait, and hopefully some of you will say hi to me this Sunday afternoon. So just say hi, Nim, or hello, Nim, and tell me where you're logging in from. So hi, whoever from Sydney or from Brisbane or from Mumbai or wherever it may be. Let me wait for a few moments. There's no point just me talking from one end and no one else responding. So let's wait for a few people to say hi. Who's going to say hi to me? I'm waiting, I'm waiting. There we go. Hi Namrata, how are you? Thank you for joining in. For those of you who are just logging in, I have just requested everyone to say a quick hi, because I love interacting with you all, as you may have guessed over the years. And some of you, I think, have been on this journey with me since I started the live videos, which is way back in early 2018, I think, which is when Sunday Chats with Nim began. And so some of you have been regularly joining me every second Sunday, which is fabulous. Hi, Manasi, how are you? Thank you for joining in. And Preeti says, hello, Nimji. Hi, Preeti. Thank you for joining in. Hi, Sonia. Hope you've had a nice Sunday so far. Okay, so fabulous. Please continue saying hi's, and every now and then I will take a pause to say hi back to you. Okay, fear of the unknown. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I personally am doing on a day-to-day basis to just hold on to positive thinking, to hold on to good thoughts, so that all the doom and gloom that is surrounding all of us globally does not engulf us so much that we cannot be positive or productive. Okay, so the first thing is the news and how much of it I allow myself to consume. So here in Sydney, whenever I switch on the television, there's heaps of updates available, which is fabulous. But in the early days, when the pandemic first sort of was increasing in its intensity. In those early days, what I found I was doing was I was constantly tuning into the news 24/7. I always wanted to know what the latest updates were, what the latest thing is from the government, and what the rest of the people are saying. And then once I finished watching the news, I would go onto social media to see, if there were any fresh updates, etc. And then I found that by constantly consuming the news, I was being filled with a sense of fear and a sense of anxiety, and it was hard to shake that off, right? So what I always like to point out is that there is a difference between staying informed, there is a difference between gathering the facts and allowing yourself to drown in the news and the updates. Because as we all know, there is a lot of false news that's out there as well, right? And then we tend to get afraid unnecessarily. So definitely there is real fear out there for very real reasons. But then again, there's also a lot of false news. So then I decided one fine day that I have to limit how much news I'm allowing myself to consume. because if I overdid that, right, I would just lose my peace of mind. I would just spend all day being afraid. And that's not very helpful for anyone. So what I do now is I tune into the news first thing in the morning. I tune into the news in the evening, and I just listen to the news long enough to gather all the facts, all the latest updates. And I believe that you must decide for yourself when to tell yourself, this is enough for today. This is all I need to know for today about what's happening out there with the coronavirus, what's happening out there with the pandemic. So just enough, right? Because you find that a lot of the time the same news is being churned again and again and again, and the more you keep listening to it, we're humans after all. We've got brains, we've got imagination, so we start imagining new disasters where disasters may not exist, right? And that's not good for you, that's not good for your family. So if you want to do what I've been doing, basically it is consuming just enough of the news to know what is happening out there in the world, to take all the precautions that are required, to do what the government is asking you to do. But after that, you've got to tell yourself, okay, I've heard enough of the news, I've gathered all the facts that I need. It's time now to switch off and do something different. Okay, so that's my first point where fear of the unknown is concerned. Here's what you need to do is I find a lot of people just reading too much of the news. Okay, the second thing I would like to suggest is use some of the spare time you now have to actually pick a new hobby or to learn a new skill. It's a fabulous time in your life where you actually may have a little extra time on hands. Why not do something you've always thought you might be good at, right? In the real world, before the pandemic hit, of course, we were all super busy. We had our routine, we had our schedules, we had to take the kids to sport practice, etc., etc. We had very little time for ourselves. But now that so many of us are working from home, we save time on the commute, etc. So we have a little extra time on hands, hopefully. Why not use that to learn something new? Now, personally, myself, I've always been very, very interested in Greek philosophy, right? Excuse me. But I've never really had enough time to immerse myself in it. So nowadays, that's exactly what I'm doing. And a certain part of Greek philosophy is actually known as Stoicism. I wish I had the book here. It's somewhere in another room. Stoicism is a form of Greek philosophy, and I'm particularly interested in it. And so it's Stoicism. That's what I'm reading a lot of nowadays, and that's how I'm keeping myself occupied, because when you learn something new, your brain is occupied with that new knowledge. And when your brain is occupied with new knowledge, it leaves less room for you to worry about unknown disasters. It leaves less room in your brain to think of the worst, right? So I highly suggest that each of you maybe pick up a new hobby, a skill. Recently, I actually posted on Facebook, what did you want to be, when you grew up as a child? And it had such an overwhelming response. So the reason I had posted that is so that you all, just to encourage you, just to give you a little nudge in the direction of childhood dreams and childhood passions. Think back to when you were younger, when you were less busy, when you had less responsibilities, and think about what you really wanted to do with your life. What were some of your natural talents? What are some of the things you're really, really good at? And maybe then life happened and you were not able to pursue those passions. I think now is a great time in your life for you to revisit those old passions, right? If you used to be great at playing the guitar as a child, try strumming a few tunes now. You might be awful at it because you're rusty and you haven't practiced for a long, long time, but that shouldn't stop you. I always say the fear of mediocrity should not stop you from trying to master a skill. Everyone who becomes a master at something at some point was not very good at it, but it was only through repeat practice, determination, resilience that they mastered that art or they mastered that skill. So don't worry. If you always loved painting, pull out some paper and some pen and start drawing, start painting. And don't be overcritical of your efforts, because you've not done this for many years. Then of course you're not going to be very great at it. That's okay, right? You've got to go through that phase where you're not very good in order to reach that stage where you start becoming a whole lot better at it. So that's something you can do. The second thing was basically pick up a new hobby, pick up a new skill. If you've always wanted to read but never really had the time, a great time to start reading. Just pick any book and start reading. Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to explain to you with regards to fearing the unknown was to know that nothing lasts forever. Okay, that should give you some kind of solace. That should give you some kind of hope. Think back in your life to all the wonderful experiences that gave you a lot of joy and happiness. Think back to all those events from your childhood, from young adulthood, even 1 or 2 years ago. Experiences that gave you happiness. Did those experiences last? They didn't, did they? All you're left with now is the memories of those experiences. So if the good times in your life did not last and you're only left with the memories, then the bad times too will not last forever. And someday, this, what we're all going through, will simply be a memory that we all look back on. Right? So every time you feel yourself sinking into despair, every time you feel yourself sinking into misery and wondering when, will things go back to normal, I just want you to hold on to that belief that nothing lasts forever. Unfortunately, the good times don't last, but in this situation of the pandemic, it's good news for us that nothing lasts forever. Okay, so let me just quickly see if I'm missing hi to anyone. As you log in, please say hi, Nim. Preeti Malhotra says, looking forward to hearing you. Thank you, Preeti. Great. And Priyanka says, right, thanks a lot. You're very welcome. Okay, and then I wanted to give you 2 points about banishing negative thoughts. The first thing, and this is my favorite, something that I personally follow in my everyday life, is don't sweat the small stuff. Okay, many people reach the end of their journey on this planet, look back, and one of their biggest regrets is that they wasted a lot of time turning, small things into big things, making a mountain out of a molehill, right? Turning little things into phenomenal things that gave them a lot of misery. So don't sweat the small stuff. Now you're probably thinking, Nim, that's easier to say than to do. Well, of course it's easy to say. Everything is easy to say compared to doing it. But trust me, it can be done. We are obsessed only with doing things that are easy. And that's the problem, right? Every time I suggest something, I sometimes get responses from people saying, Nim, it's easier said than done. Of course. Because if doing it was easier than saying it, wouldn't a whole lot more people be doing it? So just because something does not look easy, but you know that it's going to help you in the long run and it's going to be worthwhile in the long run, please go out and whatever the sacrifices are needed, do it. Right? So don't sweat the small stuff. Pick the right battles to fight. Now, because the entire family is at home now 24/7, it's very easy for people to get into unnecessary arguments, and then there'll be tears, and then there'll be heartache, and then there'll be bad mood, etc. You've got to pick your fights. Now, how do you know which fight to pick? And I wrote an article about that as well. Think from a perspective of cost and benefit. Okay? If the cost, the price that you have to pay for participating in an argument is greater than the benefits, then you need to walk away from that argument. But if the benefits of arguing are higher than the cost, then you need to, by all means, go out and battle it out, right? Now, once you've been sucked into an argument, there is no way you can make this rational choice. This choice of whether or not you choose to enter the battle has to be made before you start arguing. And no, let me tell you, this is not easy. It takes practice, right? It takes a lot of practice, but trust me, it is an art that is worth mastering. Because let's say your spouse says something super annoying, that is the stimulus. Okay, now let's say your spouse has said something that is annoying, is the stimulus, and then you react. You react with something equally sarcastic, you react with something equally rude, and that's how the fight begins. But you must recognize that between the stimulus and your response, there is a pocket of time. And in that pocket of time is when you make a conscious decision whether or not you're going to argue. Trust me, that pocket of time exists. It's just that things happen so fast that you've never discovered or recognized that pocket of time. But the next time someone says something nasty to you, remember what I've just said. Remember that between what someone does and you reacting, there is a little window where you can change how the next few minutes will happen. Sometimes it's a window of just a few seconds. Sometimes it might be a minute or two. But definitely between stimulus and your response, there is some time where you can decide whether or not you're going to argue, whether or not you're going to accept that invitation to the argument. Is it going to be easy? Of course not. We are all human. No one likes snide remarks. No one likes sarcasm. No one likes to be called names. But you must ask yourself, by participating in this argument, are you going to lose more than you're going to win? Sometimes it could be as simple as you're going to lose your peace of mind for the next couple of hours. Is it worth it? If it is, by all means, go and argue. But if you realize that you have a lot of things that you've got to achieve in the given day, and by arguing now, you're just going to start crying and feel upset, you're going to lose more than you're going to gain. Walk away. Now, typically I get asked, oh, Nim, if we keep walking away from arguments, won't we be taken for granted, etc., etc.? It'll make us a doormat. I agree, right? So I'm not saying walk away from every single battle, because there are some battles where you certainly have to dig your heels in and fight. But that's only when the benefits are higher than the cost. Okay, so that's my first point with regards to banishing negative thoughts. Don't sweat the small stuff. And the second and last thing I wanted to suggest that you do to keep negative thoughts at bay is actually to create a vision board. I'm not sure if any of you have ever created a vision board, but I certainly had a vision board for years in my bedroom. What a vision board is actually a board or a chart paper where you've got images and pictures of your long-term goals and short-term goals. Okay, so what happens is, particularly in these times of the pandemic, it's very easy for us to lose sight of the bigger picture, right? We're so consumed by everyday fears that we forget about all the potential that's waiting to be tapped into once things go back to normal. So you need to start preparing now for when things go back to normal. Use this time, this downtime well. So I suggest if you have some chart paper at home, fabulous, use that, or just any A4 sized paper. And then on that, I want you to, if you have any old magazines, just cut out images that sort of are aligned with your short-term or long-term goals and stick those up on your vision board. For example, let's say you want to run a marathon in a year's time, right? And you're seeing, starting preparing now, whatever the case may be. So let's say you want to run a marathon in a year's time. Look for images of people successfully completing marathons. Look for people running, staying fit, etc. Cut those out and stick them on your vision board. Let's say you're someone who wants to start eating healthier, who wants a healthy diet. Maybe you can cut and paste pictures of nutritious meals and stick those on your vision board. Now, the trick is to keep your vision board somewhere where you can see it, right? Mine for many years was just on the wall. So as soon as I woke up, it was the very first thing I saw. For a long time, it was as soon as I opened my wardrobe, it was there stuck. So it's the first thing I used to see every morning, and it used to fill me up with energy and positivity and determination and hope. So a vision board, VISION, Google it. Read up about it. It's a fabulous tool for productivity. It's a fabulous tool for actually setting goals that are worthy and those that are worth pursuing. Let's just quickly say Smita says hi, Nim. Hi, Smita. How are you? Thank you for joining in. Hopefully I have not missing hi to anyone. Bernadette says, love a vision board. I got one. That's fabulous, Bernadette. That's fabulous. And I think you will agree that it is a great tool for staying on track with your goals. Okay, my lovelies. So that's it for today. And now is the moment when I announce 3 winners of the book giveaway contest. In case you were worried I would forget, of course I haven't. I don't really have a good memory at the best of times, but all the entries are here staring me in the face, so I can't possibly forget. So some ground rules about the book giveaway contest. As you all know, I've written 3 books. Diary of an Immigrant Bride, which is my first one, which is fiction. Then was Unlock the Real You, which was filled with strategies to help you get ahead personally and professionally. And My Little Baby, which was launched in December 2019, was a little wiser, a little happier. And that is basically exploring how you can look at everyday life through a wider lens. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to pick out 3 names, and each winner will receive 1 copy of my book. Right now, I don't know which book you're going to receive. My team will do a lucky dip later, and they'll pull out the book that is sent out to each winner. Just to keep things uncomplicated and streamlined, unfortunately, the winners cannot make specific requests for which book they want. So if you do happen to receive a book, one of my books that you've already read, my apologies. All I can suggest is that you send that book off as a birthday gift or some other gift to someone you love or someone whose spirits might be lifted as a result of reading that book, right? Just to keep things uncomplicated, I'm requesting you all that winners can't actually request specific books. It's just going to be a lucky dip. My team will pull out 3 books and send those off to the 3 winners. I will personally write to you to request your mailing details, but after that, I'm going to let the team pick out the books to be mailed out. Alrighty. And, oh, there's Asha, Jonathan. Hi, Nim. Wonderful as usual. How are you, Asha? Thank you for joining in. Okay, so are we ready? It was very, very complicated because I had to make sure that the names I pick are actually those who have followed the requirements, because there were 3 requirements, right? You had to name your favorite book or novel. You had to tag a couple of your friends, and then like my Facebook page and follow me on Instagram, right? So I had to make sure that the names that went into the draw are people who actually followed all the 3 steps that I had requested. So here we go. I'm pulling out the first name of the 3 winners. Okay, so the first winner is Nidhi Nisa Pavan Mangnani. I hope I've said your name correctly, Nidhi. So it's Nidhi Nisa Pavan Mangnani. Congratulations, Nidhi. I will be in touch with you over the next day or 2 to request details of where the copy of my book can be mailed out to you. So that's the first winner. Let's get the second one. Here we go. Okay, the second winner is Kavita Patil. Congratulations, Kavita. You too have won a copy of one of my books. So it's Kavita Patil who is the next winner. I will be in touch with you, Kavita, to get from you the details of where we need to mail out the book. And the last winner, last but not the least, is Suman Chawla. Congratulations, Suman. You too have won a copy of one of my books. So it's Suman Chawla. So let me go through the 3 names of the winners of my book giveaway contest. We've got Nidhi Nisa Pavan Mangnani, we've got Kavita Patil, and we've got Suman Chawla. Congratulations, ladies. I hope that you will enjoy the books you receive, and hopefully They will give you a few moments of smiles, happiness, positivity, etc. Thank you so much to all those who participated in the book giveaway contest. It's what makes doing this kind of stuff worthwhile for me, that you're also engaging, also loving, and also supportive. Alrighty, so I have to love you and leave you now. I will see you, I think it's going to be next Sunday, which is my scheduled Sunday Chats with Nim. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at my calendar. And I'm not sure of what topic it's going to be, but if you have any topic suggestions, by all means, send my team and myself an email to info@nimholkar.com if there's a particular topic that you would like me to talk about and explore in my videos and in my live sessions. That'd be great. Okay. Dipali says, excellent talk. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Dipali. Thank you. And Mitu says, you always make a Sunday Avo special, always walk away pondering a seed that you would. Oh, how nice! That is awesome, Mitu. Thank you. Bernadette says, as always, awesome work. Thank you very much, Bernadette. And Kale says, thank you for sharing. You're very welcome, Kale. So thank you, everyone. As always, love you lots. Have a fabulous Sunday evening, and I'll see you very, very soon. Congratulations once again to the 3 winners. Your book will be on its way very, very soon. Alrighty, take care and have a great week ahead. Bye for now.